Hey guys, so I wanted to go over your new notes for your new grammar unit. And I say the word new lightly because this isn't actually new information at all. Everything that we're covering in this unit is review, which is awesome, right? So we're talking about the elements of a complete sentence and really being able to identify when something is a complete sentence or when it is a fragment. That's the main focus here, which is building on the skills that you've already learned. So let's dig in if I can figure out how to move the slide forward. There we go. So a complete sentence has three main elements: a subject, I've highlighted that there in blue, that's number one. Number two, a verb, highlighted in green. And number three, it is a complete thought. You have practiced identifying all three of those things from the previous units. But let's look at some examples here. Our first sentence says, Joe will attend the concert. Joe is our subject, our who, and will attend is our verb, is our do. Will is our helping verb, and attend is our action verb, and they combine together to make our main verb. It's a complete thought, right? We could put a period at the end and that makes complete sense. So check, it is a subject. The second example is very short, very sweet, and this oftentimes trips students up because it's so short. Chaos reigned. Who or what? Chaos. What did it do? It reigned. That means like it had power. So even though this sentence only contains two words, it has our subject, it has a verb, and it's technically complete thought. It's a simple, short thought, but it is a complete thought nonetheless. All right, lastly, we have chatting with her friends is my mother's favorite pastime. Now, this type of sentence often trips people up because our subject here looks like a verb. It's one of those verbals that we talked about in Unit 1. Chatting, right there, that would be a gerund. Um, it's technically a noun, right? Even though sometimes chatting is used as a verb, in this sentence, it's the thing. So chatting is the thing, and it is. That's one of our state of being verbs or our linking verbs. And then this is a complete thought, right? Chatting with her friends is my mother's favorite pastime. Makes complete sense. We can put a period of that at the end of that and call it a day. All right, so if something is not a complete sentence, then we would call that a fragment. Or to be more precise, that is a sentence that is missing information. So if you're looking at the notes, it says if a group of words lacks a subject, a verb, or a complete thought, it's not a complete sentence. A sentence fragment is a group of words that is not a complete sentence. Sometimes writers will intentionally use fragments in a piece of literature. However, when we are writing essays, when we are writing academically for ELA class, we want to avoid fragments. If you're telling a story, if you're writing a narrative, if you're writing a poem, then fragments are cool. They can be used really creatively. But anytime you're writing for ELA, like a five paragraph essay or anything that has a formal structure, you want to make sure that you avoid fragments. So let's look at some examples of fragments in this blue outline box on the right hand side. So our first one says the quarterback near the 10-yard line. So that's kind of our noun phrase, right? Like the quarterback is our subject. Where is he? He's near the 10-yard line. But we don't have any action here. We don't know what he's doing. It's missing a key piece of information to make this a complete thought because it is missing a verb. There's no action there. If it had said the quarterback was near the 10-yard line or the quarterback near the 10-yard line threw the ball, then we would have a verb and that would make a complete sentence. But as is, it's missing key details. All right, fragment number 2, shifted into lower gear. Well, shifted is a verb, that's good. Into lower gear, that's giving us more information about what was, how the shifting happened. But we don't know who or what shifted into lower gear. Maybe if it said Barbara shifted into lower gear, that would make sense, right? She's driving her little Jeep around, she's going down a hill, and she needs to shift into lower gear. That makes sense. But it's missing that information, right? There's no subject there. We don't know who is completing that action. All right, and then our last fragment, you should recognize this type of structure here. Because I really enjoyed football. Yo, we have a subject, I. We have a verb, enjoy. But what's coming before that subject? That's our awoobus word. That's the be in awoobus. That is one of our subordinating conjunctions, which causes this to be a dependent clause. And as we know from last unit, dependent clauses cannot stand on their own. If we put a period at the end of them, then that makes them fragments. So it is not a complete thought. Okay, these notes are short and sweet, and now we have entered the practice phase. So you have 5 sentences here, and for each one, you are simply labeling it either a sentence or a fragment. So you're checking to make sure that it has a subject, you're checking to make sure that it has a verb, and you're also checking to make sure it is a complete thought. Look out for those Awubis words. They're coming back to haunt you if you didn't learn them before. Now's the time, or if you didn't look them up before. Now's the time, because if all you have is a clause that begins with one of those Awubis words, then it's not a complete thought. All right, guys, and when you get done with this, you've got your check for understanding. So on your own notes, you can click that link, and it will take you to the assignment in Canvas.